Hey, this is Heidi with America's Meanest Cars, and on today's CarCast, presented by Reilly Auto Parts, I have Jim York.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. Normally I would start this out and what are we in today? But it's not really a specific thing we're in. You want to describe what we're in?
We are in a race car.
Okay, I mean that's one way that people would never describe it until right now. Yeah.
Well, that's the fun part about what we've been able to do with the van Prix. We took the soccer mom wagon, the carpool king, and made it into a race car that actually flies higher.
It is so incredible.
It's my favorite thing in the entire world is to take cars that shouldn't do at all what we're doing to them, but
Absolutely
to just
not.
put them through that. It's my favorite.
It's so fun. So just kind of a breakdown. How many laps and what is the Grand Prix? Van Prix.
Yeah,
Van Prix.
Laps are a little fluid in that there's usually a lot of fluid out on the track. So we kind of say, well, we're down to 2 vans. Wave the white flag. Usually it's 10 laps with a mandatory jump off the yeeter-totter. And if your van survives, you keep going, and you usually get the trophy. You bring home the gold.
There's obviously typically a lot of carnage that happens.
It does happen.
Would you say that the vans actually do better than what you'd imagine?
It's a roller coaster ride. Like this, I'll go in. I'm like, oh, this one's done. We're losing this one on the first lap, and that's the one that ended up winning. Like literally yesterday. The guy that won was in the van, same style van that I was in Indy, that I hit the jump once. It broke both control arms, and I was out second lap, and he won yesterday. So it's luck of the draw. Literally, we go scour Facebook Marketplace. This isn't they tuned him up. They did this. No, we bought one yesterday, which was the day of the race. We bought it in the morning. It was race ready 2 hours later. And by race ready, I mean,
ready, yeah. There's things that you do to them.
We knock out the windows, we pull the airbags, race ready.
Race ready.
That's it.
That's all. No
tire changes. I've even said this is a spec class. If you running a K&N filter, they're great. They're going to up your horsepower, but you're out. You can't, no modifications whatsoever.
The only modifications are seats and that kind of stuff out.
You can take seats out. Nobody wants anything flying forward, hitting them in the head. So that's a safety precaution. As much safety as we have with this stock seatbelt and no roll cage, that we are jumping further than anybody at the track. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It always seems to kind of take over a little bit of the show, which is just, it's just so good.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
We can do in 10 laps what the Crown Vics have to do in 90.
What created the idea?
Is
it your creation? I'll start with that.
Yeah, it was I literally I got the opportunity with another race series to basically, they said, put on a show.
Okay.
I don't know what that looks like. That was all kind of that was the explanation I got. Put on a show.
And
I'm like, okay, well, I love racing junk cars, so let's do a field car race. I went online, and I'm old, so I used to be able to get a car for $50. Nowadays, that's not really the case. But when I went on, and I wanted a kind of a similar car across the board, you can go look at minivans. They were obtainable. That was something I could buy 8 to 10 of, and it hurts the pocketbook, but it's not out of the question. So I said, let's do minivans.
Yeah.
And then was sitting there, and I think I woke up. It was one of those at 2 a.m. I'm like, I can call it this. Yes. And then just the name wrote itself.
It did.
Yeah, we've been able to take minivans and do things that you should never do. We ran rally cross tracks, and
no way.
Yeah, but as much fun as that sounds and as cool as that is, we have caught more air than anybody should in a stock minivan at the Freedom Factory with jumping 129 feet.
I was going to say that one was insane, and I don't feel like anybody expected that at all.
No one, other than we expected him to not live. That was the dumbest luck. Our buddy Josh, above the catch fence, he had not enough knowledge to know how bad it could have gone.
Right.
And we were coming from teaching all of those guys how to jump cars. So he came in with just
like hot
confidence through the roof. Oh yeah, like I just did this in Montana. I'm gonna be fine.
Got this.
I watched him, and I don't, like, you might have to bleep or whatever. There's an in-car of me just going, oh shit. Yeah! He lived! I thought for sure we lost him. Like,
oh my
it
God.
was insane. And then he actually went on to win the race, which is even
really?
better. Yep.
I guess I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
like sometimes...
That was the last lap. He saved it, jumped further than any human should ever jump in a completely stock minivan, and lived to tell the tale with a trophy on top.
This is probably getting picked up, but not as bad as it could. But because we're currently at Stafford Speedway.
Yep.
Yesterday you did the New England 900.
Yes.
Today's Burnout Rivals.
Yep.
What got you into like racing and stuff to begin with? Because
I come from a car family.
Okay.
I grew up in I grew up and my dad collected Cadillacs. Again, that ages me in that you can buy a Cadillac for $100, $200, $300 and we would just sit and restore them. And so I was the youngest in my family. I actually hated cars for the longest time.
Really?
Purely because I was a tool guy. Like, they were working, they were fixing, doing that. I need a 9/16, I need a 3/8, I need this, and this, I need the half inch. All right. Like, it was just me running back and forth, searching for tools and handing them. I wasn't really learning anything. I was just here. And then the old adage of like, hold the light straight. Like, that was kind of it. So I ended up actually playing sports, adverse to like what my family did. They were all working on cars. I was playing hockey. I was playing rugby. And then, but right when I hit high school, they started into high school drags. And I loved competition at that point. We were pretty successful, the teams I was on with hockey and rugby. Oh, cool, I can race. And I bought an old notchback 92 Mustang. Went as a high school kid, went for the cheapest horsepower available, and it was Fast and Furious days, so you had to put nitrous on it. Did like a 150 shot of nitrous, did kind of what I could do, and then won the Utah State Championship high school drags. And so that was kind of my background. I enjoyed it, but again, I had so much more fun buying a $100 Ford Explorer, lived up next to the mountains, and I would just rally the piss out of that thing until we could kill it. And that's what I knew. I'm like, I love racing, but I like racing things that shouldn't be raced. Yeah.
I mean, there's just like a uniqueness and a part about that that's so fun.
Yep.
And because I like the weird and odd. And it's so good. Like, not everything needs to be shiny and pretty to have fun.
No.
That's a big thing.
I want to have as much fun with as little money as possible.
Oh, yeah.
And I find that to be more fun. If I'm in something nice, I just ran an ARA race in the Subaru that I couldn't destroy. So that just puts me on edge instantly. Like, I can destroy it, but it's expensive.
Right.
I destroy something, I walk away from it. That's so much more fun for me.
Right. You recently had a lovely injury.
I did. I am 2 weeks and 1 day out of surgery, sitting right here. So literally 15 days ago, I was getting a 10-inch screw, 10 millimeter 10-inch screw here, and I have a plate with 6 screws here. I broke my pelvis in 4 places, broke my lower back, and broke my tailbone.
And then you raced in the race yesterday, and you're walking, and
I don't know. Again, I'm extremely fortunate to be in the position I'm in right now.
1,000%.
I was told 6 weeks was a minimum. Like, before surgery, they're like, you're going to be out, no walking, no weight for 6 weeks. Then they came to me and said, hey, we think there's studies to back it that actually getting up, moving, and doing things faster will actually help. So if you can consent to that, we want to try. And I'm like, Yes, that sounds
absolutely.
Sign me up. I'm in.
I don't want to be bedridden.
Yeah, So they said, hey, we have the PD. Like, I got out of surgery. I'm wheeled in, coming out of anesthesia, and I'm just kind of like still groggy. And they're like, hey, when you're ready to start PT, we'll bring the nurse over and you can get up and start walking. I'm like, bring her in.
Let's go.
Yeah, and they were like, well, yeah, no, you just got a surgery. I go, yeah, bring her in. Let's try. I don't care if I fall off flat on my face, unless that's gonna put me back. But let's try. And so 4 hours later, PT nurse was in my hospital room. The most excruciating pain I think I've ever been in was trying to roll over, bring myself up, because I have a 16 staple incision right here. They've got a hole in either side where they basically just drove a screw through my pelvis.
Oh, lovely.
And this was argued, like, I'm probably now 6 hours from like completion of surgery, but to roll over, get up, and put my hands on the walker and try and just move was hellacious. But it was one of those, I'm like, as long as it's not going to put me back, I want to go forward. So let's just put this out of my head and start walking.
Yeah.
And I was able to take my first steps. I was laying flat, so I had an instant blood rush. All the blood went to my feet. And as I took a handful of steps, the nurse looks at me and goes, "You're lightheaded?" And I'm like,
yeah,
a little.
Like a little?
Yeah. And she's like, "Well, you're white as a ghost." And I'm like, "Yeah, I should probably sit down." So we had a wheelchair right behind me, and they went back. They took my blood pressure, and the nurse says, "I've never seen that." And I go, "Is that in a good way or bad way?" She's like, "Kind of both. Everybody passes out at this point, and you didn't. So congratulations. But also, we need to get you back in this bed. We're going to try again tomorrow." I'm like, all right, well, I guess. I just didn't know that, laying flat for 3-4 days because the broken stuff. And then when you get up, your blood rushes to your feet. Then, so my blood pressure just dropped, and that was the only problem. The next day she came back, and I had slept and had just so I could kind of slept at like a very
little angle.
Yeah, a pretty severe angle. It hurt way more to sleep like that, but I'm like, no, I want to get out of here. We're going to walk. I don't care if I sleep less. As long as I can walk tomorrow and not pass out, get me out of here.
Yeah, let's go.
So, made decent progress every day, and then went for my first checkup. Doctor was pretty shocked in that he was like, "Are you walking?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Cool. So like just kind of laps around the house to and from the bathroom." I'm like, "No, I didn't." Started at quarter miles when I got home, half miles 3 days after that, and then been walking miles the last 3 or 4 days. And he just kind of like, and I'm not like this sounds like I'm full of, I'm just really lucky. I don't know with the injury. I guess if you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough. And then I had a good friend tell me once, and it's just kind of stuck with me. You might bleep this too, but he just said, "Don't be a bitch." And that's kind of been it. Like, I want to get back to doing what I love. And as long as it's not going to put me back, you can kind of put pain out and just keep going. And every step hurt.
Still probably have.
It's still not fun. It still sucks that I can't, like, you're like, "Oh, can you walk any faster?" And then I start jogging. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. This actually still is kind of."
That was so much sarcasm. And when he actually started like jogging some, so like, no, please don't do that.
Yeah, that was actually what they told me not to do, but I just wanted to see if I could do it. And it hurt like, there's that. And then, I forget what was going in that story, but anyway, more or less, like, you put yourself in a bad situation. The faster you can get out of it, the more you get to have fun.
You don't seem to like just put yourself in bad situations like a couple times. It seems like a lot of times.
I love a good bad idea.
But like, is that just like how? Because you kind of have this like look in your eyes, like kind of crazy, but like you know that you're enjoying it because right before you're smiling. It's not like
it's that calculated risk. So I look at anything, and the accident I have is a freak accident. Like, it's something I don't do. It's something I crushed a 4-wheeler. I'm not good at 4-wheelers. We were just rallying around. I didn't know the track. I didn't know where I was going. And I'm like, oh, I could pass Travis. So I passed Shauna, and there was a reason he slowed down. I didn't know about that reason. And it was my own dumb mistake. I was embarrassed. It sucked. I'm not happy about it. But one of those, like, we're all under the understanding that things are going to happen.
All the time.
Just move past it.
Yeah.
Anything that was broken, it's just stuff, which all it did. The four-wheel was bent the handlebars, which I think actually broke my pelvis. So there was that. I owe him a new set of handlebars. It wasn't on tape. That's the worst part. We have if it's on tape, you don't have to pay for it. We have no footage of that crash. It probably one of the best crashes I've ever had, or worst crashes. Yeah. So basically, we were coming through his backyard that I don't really know that well because we're not on the tracks. We're just kind of going through the woods. Mm-hmm. And I come around the corner. I'm like, oh, I got him. Pass him on a corner. And right after that, it's about a 20, 30-foot cliff. And so we just, and I held onto the four-wheeler, but it rotated and kind of bucked. So four-wheeler's here, I'm here, and it just landed on me from about 20 feet.
That's way more extreme than I realized.
Yeah. He just watched it, and he goes, well, we just lost Jim. He 100% thought I was going to be dead. They came around, and I'm one of those, like, I was embarrassed, again, just trying to, like, I knew it was bad.
Cool, kind of?
Not even that cool, but, like, just, because they were like, you good? I'm like, yeah, just give me a minute. Like, yeah. I know this is bad. Tried to stand up, and my entire just waist was like, I don't know how else to explain it. It was just mush. It was like mashed potatoes. It was basically having your upper body and your lower body completely disconnected.
Oh my gosh.
And like felt like mashed potatoes because I fell over on the front of his four-wheeler. And luckily, he had just broken his pelvis. So he knew exactly what was wrong. And he goes, but it's an injury that has a very, very high risk of bleeding out. So I don't see him mad, angry, or concerned often. And he was very concerned and then got really angry when there wasn't an ambulance waiting for me when we got to the top. They threw me on the front of his four-wheeler and trucked me back up to like the shop, and nothing was there. Nothing had been done. And I've seen him mad maybe twice. And he has a lot to be he could be mad all the time with just all this stuff he deals with, but he's genuinely very calm and just whatever happens. But he was pretty upset, and purely because he thought, like, he was one of like 3 people to survive the amount of blood loss he did, because he was bleeding out when he broke his pelvis. So he was genuinely pretty upset that no one did anything and I could have died. Right. But lucky for me, had no internal bleeding by some dumb luck, and yeah. So yeah. That's kind of how that crookie crumbled, or pelvis crumbled, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. And like, because you do a lot, like, just all sorts of crazy stuff all the time with it. Like, what even got you into like stunting? Is that what you would call it? Is that the correct term?
Like, stunting sounds like, oh, he's stunting. No, I'm doing stunts.
Is that like what you would call like what you do? What would you?
Yeah,
how do you describe yourself?
Stunt guy. Yeah. What are they? What do they call it? No, he's a stunt guy. And yeah. The first stunt I ever like kind of qualified myself. I don't know. I grew up in the Jackass area. I grew up in the Nitro Circus, watching that stuff, and then like trying to recreate it at home. And I was always like,
what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, like, okay. But like the neighborhood, like sporting local daredevil, right? That was kind of like, I was the daredevil, like the daredevil of the block. I actually grew up being a sissy until about 12. No, like wouldn't do it. And then like something like snapped and started just doing more dumb stuff. And where I just like, again, competitive, it didn't matter if it was the dumbest thing ever. I just wanted to be better at it. Like, oh, we're going to jump out of this tree. Well, I'll jump out of this tree higher. We're going to jump off this roof. I'll jump out of this roof higher. oh, this will get a laugh for some people. Oh, I'm gonna ride this dryer. This is a really weird one, but I have a picture of me somewhere with wearing a helmet, just in underwear, and my buddy's pushing me down the stairs on a dryer that tumbled over me, and it was a weird time. This is the early 2000s were nuts. Didn't make any sense at all. But yeah, bleach tips and wash dryers downstairs is basically what we'll go with there. But yeah, like I always wanted to be part of kind of what they had going on, and I was fortunate enough to meet Travis. I don't know, now it's been 10, 15 years ago, and I'm like, these guys I love the camaraderie that they have.
Right.
It's everybody's here to help everybody. There's no nobody's better than anybody. Like, but you want to be the best at whatever you're doing that day.
But not like a crazy competition against each other, but like against each other.
Healthy competition is the way to put it. Like, the dollar bets, it doesn't matter if it's foosball, a NASCAR race, whatever we're doing. Like, you put $1 on the line, and everybody is so genuinely competitive. But then at the end of the day, it's like, cool, like, cheers, guys. That was awesome. That's such a fun day.
Yeah.
And
what a cool experience, like this.
100%. I've just been really fortunate there. But then, like, I guess I created a stunt in 2020. Everybody got bored, and I was like, oh, I grew up in that Cadillac family. Luckily for me, or I don't know if it's lucky, but Cadillac makes weird cars. They make hearses. They make hearses. They make limos. They make things like that. So in high school, I drove a hearse with 44-inch super swampers on it. Like, I've always had just
like as your daily.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
gas was cheaper then. Gas was definitely cheaper then. So yeah, I love eclectic, stupid vehicles my entire life. But I'm like, what if I jumped one? No, I don't think anybody's ever jumped a hearse. So I'll get the world record instantly. This would be great. And my buddy Nate Wessel was building Woodward up in Park City. He came down to help me build the jump. We got that world record. It was just kind of this dumb local state fair. Found a group that would let me do it, and we did it. And had a lot of fun doing it, as sketchy as it was. And from there, it's just kind of snowballed into, I got a call maybe a week later that when Pastrana was doing Pastrana Kana, he was doing Jim Kana his first time in Annapolis. He said, I know you're a limo collector. Can you bring one of your limos out? It's probably not going to make it back, but if you want to jump it in the video, come on over. And then I looked up the world record for limo jumps, and we got that at the end of Jim Connor in a limo that I found over there. I didn't actually crash one of my ones. It was easier to just buy one there, cut the top off, and yeah, like I said, it's just been the snowball effect of.
How many limos did you have? Do you have? What was?
Got a dozen limos.
A dozen.
You're
okay.
Right.
Cool. Just one of the weird random things.
They're just.
What makes it fun? Like
they're the dumbest cars ever. They make no sense. But that's what I love about them. Like, I don't know. It's a car. I'm here for a party. I'm here for a good time. That's what limos do. That's what limos are. Like you.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what you think when you think limo.
Exactly. It's you as a passenger in a limo. You like it is the essence of a party vehicle, and that's what I love about them. That's what I've always liked about them. It's just like people jumping in, getting out of the sunroofs, or we made permanent sunroofs and just cut the tops off them. But it's just been these dumb vehicles that bring a smile to people's faces. And yeah, so that's why we started with one, and now we have 12.
That's pretty.
Yeah, they're cheaper than you think, and they all have low miles. So
yeah.
Because
you actually like the mechanical side of stuff, or
I'm terrible at it.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I've been quoted as the most car guy from my girlfriend. She's mechanically inclined.
Yeah,
she knows what she's doing. She'll tear apart a motor, put it back together, and get it to work. Like the stuff she's doing, she'll pull out like power steering rack, and I'm like, you're crazy. Like, no, take it to a mechanic that knows what they're doing. She's like, I'll figure it out. I'm one of those. I'm like, it's broken. We're done. Even the guys yesterday, the starter went out on one of these cars. He figured out that the starter had gone bad. They went, replaced it. It worked. I'm shocked. I know Demolition derby mechanics, so I know that you can pull a radiator you loop the two hoses together, and the car will run for about 20, 30 minutes. And then it's going to blow up. Like, I know weird dumb fixes, but as far as like...
Is that like the dumbest one that you know?
Well, like if you get a hole in a radiator and you can't loop it, you can throw, you can crack an egg, put it in the radiator, you can throw cigarette butts, and it'll usually clog the hole. There's like those little dumb things. That's the kind of stuff that like, I'm like, oh yeah, like that's
I got you.
That's common sense. And yeah, like,
everybody knows that.
So yeah, Gabby, my girlfriend, she shows up to a demolition derby, and my buddy's pulling the radiator out to loop it so it'll keep running. And she's like, what is he doing? I'm like, oh, he's pulling the radiator. She goes, why? It's not going to work. I'm like, no, you just get like a piece of hose, put the in and the out together, and then it just loops. You get about a gallon of coolant in there, and you're good for 20, 30 minutes. She's like, you derby boys do it different. I don't get it. And yeah, I don't get what she does. So mechanically, no idea. I'm as ignorant as they come. I can fit the check oil lights on. We should check and see if it has oil. Like, that's kind of it for me.
Yeah,
I'm not smart, but know enough to get by, I guess. As far as, mechanically inclined, I'm stupid. Been around it enough to like, if the car clicks a bunch of times, all right, I say that, I'm like, oh, well, it's this, or this.
Yeah.
I can kind of come up with like a rough diagnosis, but then like, all right, let's send, like, it was kind of like, if to put it back into perspective with like breaking my pelvis, the first hospital I went to, they know I broke my pelvis. Mm-hmm. They were not able to treat that there, so they had to take me to somewhere else. That would be me. I'd be like, oh yeah, this is broken.
But I know how to fix it.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So what do you have coming up in the future? Or are you just kind of...
I'm on the healing grind right now. As much as I'm at a racetrack and shouldn't be racing, I need to take at least 2 weeks and basically I have a C-section. That sounds really weird, but I posted a picture of the 16 staple incision that's right here. And I had a lot of my friends, and now I have kids, like, oh, I have the same scar. So literally I have a C-section. It is not ever anything I ever thought I would get or want. Right. And I need to let that heal. It's not, that's really the one problem. If I'm having a complication, I'm leaps and bounds ahead where I should be walking, but I got to let this...
still need to heal?
I still need to let this heal. Like I said, I damn near bled out yesterday. I was... after qualifying, this is a little graphic, but I could feel I thought I'd peed my pants, but I had like reached down there and there was blood on my hands. So I bled through my bandage, through my underwear, through my suit.
Yikes.
And... oh, crap, I probably shouldn't do this race. The bandage had come loose, so that pressure was being applied. And so, when they tell you apply pressure to a wound, it checks out. I went to the ambulance, we rewrapped it, and from what I could tell, I have the same bandage on right now. I hadn't bled at all, so I was able to finish that race, obviously, and do that thing, but I need to let that heal.
Absolutely.
Doctor even said, he's like, look, you're way ahead of what you should be doing. Like, maybe take a couple steps back and just let yourself be on the mend. So that's it. I'm gonna at least give myself probably at least 2-3 weeks to let this heal up. I know I have 3 more trips already planned, but they're like a wedding, a checkup, and maybe a stunt. But what I really want to start doing more of is taking what I've grown up loving with action sports and taking that to cars.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh. No. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, my whole goal is, taking skateboard tricks to cars. Like, I want to, like, when you see him do the on-off kick flip out, that is literally something I've talked to my buddy Nate Wessel, and we're going to try it, hopefully, at Pastranaland, where I'll have a rail. I'll go up on a rail. We'll build kind of a tabletop-style rail. So rail, jump, rail, and then have it be, like, one side be higher, so it'll barrel roll me and be able to, like, hopefully barrel roll and land and drive out of it. Like, taking, again, what we've seen from action sports, basically a car is a skateboard with a motor, so let's do skateboard tricks with cars. I think we're done.
Yeah, cameras seem to be getting a little bit hot, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. It's been so cool to have you on. Thanks for sharing all of your fun experiences with what's been going on and this crazy stuff. Excited to see what else happens in the future. Please heal.
Yeah, we're gonna let it heal, and
yeah,
then we'll be right back at it. It's gonna be a good time. We've got plenty of stunts in the hopper, so
awesome.
Just need to be able to not bleed out. So
right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as soon as we get that going, we'll be back to jumping cars and doing dumb stuff.
Great. As for you guys, thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe. You never know who you're gonna see on the CarCast presented by Reilly, and we will see you later. Okay.